Okay, so just a quick review of what we have done in the past weeks. So we did an overview of why learn professional project management. What the tools are, an overview of that. Um, Essentially, we're looking at 12 tools, and then why use Rome for project management, or at least which aspects of project management are best done with Rome, and then the first tools we've covered were the WBS, the project charter, and then two tools for risk management, the risk breakthrough structure and the risk register. So today we'll be discussing the stakeholder analysis and communications plan. So um, okay, so this one, um, this is pretty straightforward, really. Um, the the work of project manager is really 90% of it is communication. So because well, it in if you are full time as a project manager, your work really is the project management work, which is what we have been discussing in the past weeks and what we'll be discussing. Planning, getting together a consensus or like a vision of what we will do, getting the team to execute, and of all those things, to do that, your tool primarily is communication. You communicate to people what needs to be done, when it needs to be done, to motivate them. These are all communications tasks. Now, many of us also do a lot of the work that is in the WBS. So, and when we do that, we're not working as project manager. We are working as a resource, our own resource. So, if a lot of our work or a lot of the WBS is done by us, so most of the tool that we use is really task management or productivity tools, meaning we essentially do the work that we plan out in project management. But if we have teammates and a lot of the work done in the project is done by our teammates, then we need to master communications to help them, um, what you call this, do the work that needs to be done to complete the project. Essentially, what we listed in the WBS. So the first tool here is the stakeholder analysis. Okay, so in this case, there are different ways of doing this. The simplest one really is just to figure out two things. So, well, first you have to list down your stakeholders. Let's create a table here. Then, so you just want two things from in this analysis. One is their interest in the project. So, what's in it for them? So, or at least what they care about in the project. And the second is their influence. So, what we need from them. And that is basically how um, you would want to analyze. There are other tools like there's what you call the explain. Um, can, there are some tools which I learned from you know analyzing customers. One of them is this explain canvas empathy map here. The empathy map. I'll just share this once. Just in case you want to go deeper. These are more sophisticated tools for um, for analysis. Let me just I think that's the name of the company. Um, and also the classical one also is the what you call this customer profiles, and then uh, customer archetype profile, something like that, and then the value proposition canvas. So these are just ways of thinking about the to empathize with your audience. So, but for project management, I usually just use this table. So, and we have I have an example here of a stakeholder analysis. So, um, so this is uh, a stakeholder analysis of a um, crowdfunding project. So here we have the stakeholders are the donors, the crowdfunding team, the project team, and the supporters who are in social media mostly. So their interests. So we want to put ourselves in their shoes. What are the interests in the project? So for the donors, of course, so why would they give money essentially? So to be part of something historic, um, and to be, maybe to be immortalized through a plaque in the lab, and to make an impact in the developing world. So that's how I imagine their interest to be. No? Um, and then what we need from them are the donations. For the crowdfunding team, actually for everyone, it's my what I think. Well, I think it's similar. This is what we could sell to them, quote unquote, is that this is an historic thing and they could be part of it, and then they will be immortalized, and then they will make an impact. So it's the same thing here. Um, in this case, we could also use again the what you call this, the stallion and rider model. So what what would interest their stallions? The more instinctive part, and what would interest their riders, the more rational part. So um, so here it just plays down their influence. So what we need from them. So for the crowdfunding team, so essentially the work we need, what we need to ask them is to send out the to their contacts, to make an ask to their contacts, the project team to do the work, and then the supporters in social media to amplify our message essentially, and also to look for project members. So that is the um, stakeholder analysis. So that's pretty straightforward. Do you have any questions, Ashish?
No, I think this was a good refresher. And this is something which in my team we haven't explicitly discussed. So maybe I should put that on the table because it's important to put the expectations and where they are coming from. So going forward, I think this will bring greater clarity.
Cool.
Um, yeah, it's okay, fine. I'm good for now.
And the next step is like based on this stakeholder analysis, you would want to plan out your communications. So let's try, because I did this what you call this feature in Rome where you could actually expand your this one, the full page. Let's see, because here in the example I separated the stakeholder analysis and the communications plan because it was like an old Rome format. So let's see if we could just extend this. So for each stakeholder, you would want so based on your understanding of what you need from them and what they're interested in the project, you want to. So what is the message that you want to relay? So this is the message, and then um, the next is like the how. How will you relay the message? The medium. It could be multiple media, like email. You could face to face. It could be a presentation. So what's the best medium for this particular message? And then the when, the timing. This could be and frequency. So when will you do this? Maybe a weekly meeting, maybe I don't know, an event, and then the uh, who the
Mm.
owner, the communications owner.
Mm.
This could be most of the time it's the project manager, but you could also assign this to people. Well, the best case is that you assign this to people so that you'll be free to do more of the project management work. So this is basically it. So if we look at our example, uh, so in this case, I'm the owner of all the communications work here. So the message here is that this is really the key things really in this project are the video and the landing page for us to um, convince visitors of the landing page of the crowdfunding page to actually donate. So so these are scripts. No. So
Mm.
there are you could test the scripts by actually pitching them to yourself because you could see people's reactions. Um, so this is part of the work I'll need to do as well for this project. But my
Mm.
guess is, being part of something historic and helping, what the other things we placed here, and then the call to action is to donate. The media there is the video and the landing page. So this is the biggest uh, parts of this project, doing these two things. Um, yeah, we have other messages here that we need to relay. For instance, we need to thank them. We need to uh, update them the progress once they've donated. So what's the
Mm.
progress of the project? We need to thank them again once the entire project is done. And we have different media there, and we have scheduled that. And then for the and for each of the other, what you call this, stakeholders, we plan these different messages. No? You could also take a look at your WBS to see what you need to communicate. So that could be another source for building this. And then once you're done with this, you could then go to your WBS and then add these what you call this mm, these tasks to your work business structure. So I'll be adding these things to this one, um, and then one of the upcoming trainings is on schedule management. So we'll be adding these scheduled communications there as well um, on our schedule on our calendar. Okay, so that's basically it. That's the tool for communications management plan and stakeholder analysis.
Um, yeah, it's interesting. I'm just taking some notes as to what are the important things for me. Two things that came to mind. One, I think it's very important, but also I need to find time to be able to do it comprehensively amongst the other things that are happening. Two is in our team, we are also talking about bringing in the build-in public element. So some of the communication, given that the audience will be developed over a period of time, to start engaging with them early and using the what we read as the build in public approach. So I think the communication plan becomes very important. I was looking at it from a workflow perspective. So if you have, apps and website and products and courses and events, and then you have audience on how to set up the workflow. But I think the communication angle is interesting because it is more comprehensive than just looking at the workflow. The expectation and the returns, and therefore the value, is better defined. So I really like this.
Cool, cool. All right. That's basically it. So if you have questions when you actually do this, Ashish, for your project, happy to help you out.
Thank you.
Cool.
I'll share with you some more insights. It's just that I don't have a tangible milestone this week. So
Mhm.
probably in the next week or two, so we started with the mind map, then we mapped it to the business plan, and
Mhm.
that brought some very interesting elements. Now we are breaking it into WBS and putting it into this tool called Tascade. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's by and large free, so but it has good functionalities. And then on that, we need to map in our business elements, the 4 segments, and then the stakeholder and communication plan. But it'll be more clear when I show it to you on screen one of the coming days.
Cool, cool. All right. So if there's nothing else, then I'll see
Perfect,
you.
perfect.
I'll see you next week.
Yes, so we'll keep this time slot, Khalil.
Yes, yes, yep. All right,
Have a good one. Take
all
care.
right.
Thank you so much.
See you. Goodbye.